Hey everybody, welcome to Sexy Nerd Science, Season 5, Episode 22. I'm Drew, as always, here with Dale and Josh.
Get off the fucking ice, tutus.
Hey, 22, get off the ice. So we got we're live streaming currently, so we'll be chit-chatting with some of those people, but also we got a great show for you, live or not. We've been away for a while. We're going to get that fixed. For like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. I don't know what it's been.
Until we go to our next convention, then we'll be off for a little while.
Yeah.
Sorry, it happens.
So Josh looks like an Amish person. Don't pay attention to that. And we've also figured out how to use green screen within Zoom. So we're going to have a lot of fun on the video. Check that out on
I gotta get mine now.
Project Nerds YouTube channel. This will be going up on.
So long as your background's static, Dale, you should still be able to do it.
It's going to be solid color.
No, it doesn't. It just needs to not move.
Yeah, I think I could do it, but I'm not going to try.
Okay. I was going to say, because, I used to do it. I do it on my phone for when I'm on work meetings. I've got Patty's Pub in the background of mine. My boss really likes.
Man, we should get Modine's. Modine's in the background. Anyway.
Have you guys ever watched The Office?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just started watching it. I'm on season 5. I hate Chris.
Started watching it. He's on season 5.
On season 5. Yeah, of course. Yeah, within like five minutes, I watched all the season or all the episodes. I don't like Steve Carell in this show.
Really?
Until this season, it was awkward.
I think that's the point of his character.
Yeah.
Like be awkward and then don't know something and then go one step with it. But he goes like 2 or 3 steps, and I fast forward.
So yeah, we're doing a great live stream right now, but let's just jump right into it. If you guys haven't listened or watched us before, this is Sexy Nerd Science. We talk about all things sexy, nerdy, and sciencey. We should start saying that at the beginning of every podcast because the benefit of that is that somebody who doesn't know what we're doing might have a
read the description in our bio.
Nobody reads anymore, don't you know, Josh?
Yeah, I don't know how to read. I'm clueless. Tasha joined the live stream and she says Josh's hair looks so damn good.
Thank you, the stuff on his head, not the face hair.
Whoa.
Josh, turn your head around, see what it looks like.
Yeah, he got that sick fade, bro. But guess what? He needs that sick fade on his face too.
So I will say this, guys. The reason why I don't shave the sides and I just try to comb them down is I have super thin beard hair. Like it's blonde and it's thin, so it doesn't look like I have beard hair. And the last time I tried to thin it down by like just cutting it a little shorter, the clippers weren't like I couldn't get far enough away with the clippers, and it just shaved it all off, and then it looked really dumb. And I was like,
couldn't get far enough away. Were you?
I usually
were you in a small room? Were you shaving in a?
So now I'm just gonna go
airplane bathroom,
comb it all out like Bozo, and then I'm just gonna cut with scissors.
That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea.
You should just shave it all off.
His ear.
Have a baby face.
Dale, I had someone tell me I looked 33 because of the beard.
Yeah, you look older because of it.
And then I showed them a picture of me without a beard, and they're like, "You look 25."
Yeah, you need to shave your beard.
I want to look older and more wise.
I think
you're not going to look more wise.
I think a beard is good. I think your beard is not good.
I agree.
I think it looks like a certain
like an Amish beard.
I think it looks like a certain friend of ours beard, and I don't think that you would think that person is very sophisticated or wise.
Was it the chin strap beard?
No,
that's like the 90s. Tasha said that he should go see the Scotch and barber for the beard shaping.
See,
I would go to Scissors.
I would go to. Hey, Tasha, can I go see Scissors? Go to Scissors and Scotch, please.
Check. Dear Scissors and Scotch, fix this.
Honestly, you probably could do some YouTube videos with like thin beards and see what other ideas people have. I'm sure it's out there.
One of the ones I saw is you can get beard oil that makes your beard look darker, and they're just like, use that. And I was like, I should probably do that, but I need to use what beard oil I have.
It's hard to see through the camera, but is your beard and your hair on your head the same like color, or is it lighter?
With the exception of the gray patch right here.
No way.
Is that gray or is this really blonde?
It's pretty gray.
It's pretty gray. There's a little white in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's discernible enough from the blonde hairs.
You got to get that. What's it? The Rogaine thing for
the Just for Men.
Just for Men, yeah. So I actually haven't done this in a while. But me and Amanda like check my hair, check my my beard and everything to see if I have like gray hair yet. I'm 31, so I'm getting to that point where my dad started getting gray hair in his beard. Now I haven't found any gray hairs yet, but I'm okay if I do. I thought it would like appear more like right here first. Like this looks a little gray, doesn't it?
Oh, mama.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, Dale. You got a handsome from my mom.
Ooh. Oh, wow, a lot of people joined too.
Handsome boys. Hey, handsome son and his handsome friends.
Mrs. Bobby Brown has joined. How you doing? And then Drew joined, and then Lucas Morningstar, which I believe is from Lucian. Lucian.
It's Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey from Weekly Geekly, right?
Yeah.
Weekly Geekly.
The Weekly Geekly newly on Project Nerd.
Check them out, our fellow Project Nerd brethren.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper. So this is sexy news now, since we're all some handsome boys. But one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about was what's been going on as far as everything, in our lives and stuff, because obviously we've been away for a little bit. Dale had the gout again or something like that.
Strep throat.
Dale had gout of the mouth,
which I'm still taking pills for because it came back.
Oh, gross.
Which is 9 o'clock. That's
always
why.
Finish your antivirals and antibiotics, people.
And I had to go back to the doctor because my throat started closing up.
Your throat. Did you have to get what's the
pus? I got the pus.
Gross.
The throat pus.
The throat pus.
The canal.
Seriously, look it up. It looks so gross. It's like white.
Have you seen those like pockets that people get in the back of their throats and they have to like push them out, and then they're like stones,
no.
Like calcified bits in your throat?
I used to get those all the time.
That's what I think it was in the back of my throat because there was this one area that was very hard.
I thought I coughed out my brain.
All right, so that's we're not going to talk about that anymore.
Calcified bits in our throat.
Yeah, it started getting me.
So, Dale, besides health issues, what else is going on?
I don't have health issues. I had a little strep throat. I went to Pennsylvania.
Before we started the podcast, we thought Dale was having a stroke too.
Look at my eye. Look at my eye. It just does that because I'm looking funny. That's the thing. We went to Pennsylvania. We took the dog for Amanda's family. That was fun.
I saw you had a picture of a train.
We got to ride on a train. That was very cool.
Yeah. Dale loves trains.
I do love trains.
Dale does not like riding on trains hardly anymore.
Okay, shut up. Real quick before Weekly Geekly shouts out Project Need Family. I think he meant Nerd Family. Love sexy nerds.
What a jerk.
Dale, you're not supposed to...
Throat puss, such sexy news. Yes, of course it is.
Did you say puss?
Pus, whatever. I thought pus was one S.
No.
P-U-S is pus, right?
I mean, probably.
So that's why I said it right.
Throat puss.
Ew. The quits. Missy joined. Missy, how you doing? Cool. And ew, I'm so jealous of Dale's train. Yes, you should be. Choo-choo, motherfucker. I don't have any train paraphernalia.
So, speaking of trains, I've been playing Ticket to Ride on my phone like fucking mad crazy.
What is Ticket to Ride?
I got this from Pennsylvania.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
I know. I've been playing with it nonstop on my desk.
Dale, if you like trains, I think you should download Ticket to Ride.
I have it on my phone. I have it on my tablet. Yes.
Dale.
I even got the premium version.
I did too. And because we have iPhones and Tasha and I share, we both got it for the same price or for free or for one price, whatever. You know what I mean?
Pay.
But I've been playing Ticket to Ride like crazy. And
What is Ticket to Ride?
Ticket to Ride's a board game that is transferred into
The mobile sphere.
transferred into a mobile game. Basically, that carbon copy.
It's hard to describe like what style of game it is besides just a board game because it's so unique to it.
Well, I mean, it's the way I've described it is basically a to B route game. It's almost like linear Risk. So the idea is you get a route that's like point A to point B. Like, so you'd say LA to Pittsburgh, and there's a multitude of different routes. Most of them have color requirements for your cards. You get those cards, and then you can play that route. But there's only a limited number of routes. So if somebody else has LA to, let's say, Atlanta, which is almost similar in the majority of its path, you would have to go like way north if they took the way south one.
If they stop you from taking that route, you have to find another route.
Are you trying to have a train monopoly?
Yes and no.
Train route monopoly.
You're trying to complete the most train routes as possible, but while also the other one that I always shoot for every time, no matter what, is to try and get the longest train because it's an extra 10 points.
It's only 10 points, but getting a one extra route, even a small one, is more than 10 points.
There's a lot of 5-6ers.
Real quick, hashtag throat pus train 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
awesome. So good. I hope we trend.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Throat pus train 2019 trending on Twitter. Even though I don't even touch Twitter.
Twitter's pretty fun.
I want to do it. Like I see the stuff that we get all the time for Sexy Nerd Science, but I just like every time I just like look at one thing like once a month, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to do it. So this is your pop culture literacy question, Dale. It's coming from me because Josh didn't know.
So this is something that I have one up. I get 2 points then.
Yeah, you can get 2 points. Dale, it's a TV related question because you talked about The Office, but also because I talked to Josh about it.
Okay.
So recently I had my phone screen replaced, right?
Yep.
And the man who did it, his name was Neil. And I made the joke, is he going to make a copy of it and sell it through a fence? What TV show is there a character named Neil that copies works of art? I think we've talked about this before.
I'm going to say...
Not White Collar.
Damn! I was going to go White Collar, honestly.
It is White Collar.
Is it really?
It is White Collar. Why'd you do that?
I was going to say White Collar.
I thought it was something
It's a USA
different.
show.
Oh,
I swear to
White
God.
Collar.
Yeah.
Neil Caffrey.
Yeah.
So
I was going to
I
say...
thought you said it was something different in the...
no.
I feel like such an idiot now because I totally would have gotten that.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting Suits.
Like White Collar was one of my favorite shows for a long time.
I keep like referring to Suits and White Collar because they're both USA shows.
I think you're just really busy when you were like.
Well, I didn't ask you like what. I didn't ask that exact question, but I was like, the question I asked Josh was, is he going to steal my phone or replicate my phone and sell it through a fence?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, and I was like, oh my gosh, a pop culture reference that Josh doesn't get.
Now that you're saying this, like through a fence, like I thought you meant like a literal fence, not like a third person who's not like the actual person who stole the item.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be like the backyard neighbor in Home Improvement.
I definitely think I should get that because I definitely knew that.
I'm sorry,
I'll give it to you. That's 2-pointer for Dale.
Dale and I both watched White Collar before.
We both watched White Collar, but it came out like it hasn't been even aired for a few years now. They stopped a few seasons. Suits is still airing, which
they only did 6 seasons of White Collar, and the 6th season sucked because they had only like 7 episodes or something, and they mashed a bunch of shit in there. It was sucked.
Which, just future TV people out there, if you're listening to this, don't do that. It didn't work for Game of Thrones. Didn't work for White Collar. It seems to not work when you guys are like, hey, let's take a lot of stuff and just try to end it all quick.
I would rather have a show end without buttoning anything up and giving the opportunity to come back later than try and end the story and completely.
Or pull a Walking Dead and give us a friggin' feature-length film of what happens to Rick Grimes.
Yeah. I mean, that's even better. So that's, I like that, Dale.
Yeah.
We did that. Let's get into some nerdy news today, guys.
Nerdy news.
Let's get into some nerdy news. So we're going to go back to Colorado.
Yeah.
This is Colorado Springs.
10.
Most of the images.
10 on the ocean. Wait.
Most of the images. Is way.
They're going down to show Colorado.
But
for those of you listening on the podcast, we just changed our background to Colorado.
Yeah. I feel like it's not as cool as the one that I thought we grabbed. Anyway. We should have grabbed this one with the Colorado Springs header.
That would have been nice.
Next time.
Yep. Next time we go to a city.
Ooh. So, I mean, we have 2 more episodes till we go to that city. I'm getting it for next time. So we're going to be in Colorado Springs Comic-Con in 3 weeks.
The dates are on there. You go.
Yep, 3 weeks. We're going August 23rd to the 25th. We'll be there a little before and after, obviously.
After, got to get some Tucanos for my birthday and Iggy's birthday.
Ooh,
are you sure you're saying it right? Because you got Texas de Brazil wrong.
Yeah, it's Tucanos because it's 2 cans.
2 cans.
But, yeah.
How many cans do you want?
2 cans.
Dos cans.
Whoa, it's Brazilian, Dale. They speak Portuguese.
Okay, what's Portuguese for 2?
Except for Josh. Don't listen to Josh because he was saying Tejas de Brazil.
Yeah, because he doesn't know how to say Texas.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to be in the Chapel Hills Mall, which is a mall in Colorado Springs area. Our area is going to be in the old Sears location, which is where it's basically we're taking over a department store.
That's where it was last year.
Same place it was last year.
Portuguese for 2 is dois.
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 What's ekis in Portuguese?
What's X's?
How do you spell that?
That was a joke. Dois ekis. It's just a joke. Anyway, so August 23rd to the 25th are show dates. Friday is $25 tickets. Saturday is $35 tickets. Sunday is $30 tickets. Or you can basically split each day $75, $25 a piece each day. So you're saving $15 on that.
7-Eleven Slurpee machine is going to be there the entire con.
Nice.
Nina just joined
giving
us.
Free Slurpees.
Demon Porch Lady in the house.
Yeah. Demon Porch Lady. You guys remember from our first and second season where Nina would be on the podcast and we would have just creepy porch sounds
Kayla?
from like cars driving by? I think Dale thought something happened to Amanda and it was Drew.
The whole house shook.
Oh. I did that?
Oh my God, the Demon Porch Lady came on here. But yes, for those of you guys, Nina joined our live stream. She was on the first couple seasons of SexyNerdScience.
Yeah.
So they're also doing a 3-day VIP for $140. Do we know off the top of our heads what the VIP gets us, or do I have to pull this? I'm pulling this.
I didn't look. I'm sorry.
I'm pulling this link. Don't worry about it. Talk about the next thing, which is Colorado Springs.
Well, wait, I can talk about while we're talking about Colorado. Okay. I was recently in Colorado with Derek. We went to the Sad Summer Tour, which is pretty much just a bunch of emo bands together playing outside in Colorado. It was a fantastic.
Why'd you have to go there?
What?
Why'd you have to go there?
It was the closest place that the Sad Summer Tour was coming to Omaha.
Yeah, but why'd you have to go to the tour is what I'm saying.
Because it's the main and Mayday Parade and a bunch of bands that like
selling phones to them or something?
What?
Were you selling phones to them?
No.
Then why'd you go?
Because I enjoy emo music, Dale. And it was the first edition of the Sad Summer Tour, which is probably going to keep going on year after year because Warped Tour no longer happens.
Yeah, so it's a sad summer. Hashtag emo forever. Real quick, they are also
Make America emo again.
They are also doing a VIP admission only says it allows one person admission for that price. I'm assuming they have VIP lines for meet and greets and everything like that. If you're a VIP badge holder. That being said,
VIP like sections to sit in for the panel rooms too.
Yeah. So you get you a little bit more premier access for double the price. A little less than double the price, but the other things that they have, they also have kids tickets. So 6 to 12 is $10, $15, and $10. Or you can get a 3-day pass for kids for $30. So you're saving $5 on that kid pass. But and then they also have after party tickets.
Heck yeah.
For $15 and $30.
2 years ago, the after party was so lit that the stage broke.
Yeah.
And then last year it was also lit, but we didn't go.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's going on with Colorado Springs ticket side. A lot of cool stuff. They're going to have
guests that we're going to have there.
A lot of fun guests.
What?
A lot of fun guests.
Yeah, I'm really excited about a lot of
So the big ones that are at the top are William Shatner and Robert Englund. If you don't know those names, I apologize for your lack of culture, but William Shatner
Dale's
is...
Life.
What's up?
Welcome to Dale's Life.
Yeah, Dale. Do you know who Robert Englund is without looking?
No. William Shatner I got, but not.
Okay. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. Nightmare on Elm Street.
I know who Freddy Krueger is. I just
He's just
wouldn't have got it.
William Shatner's from Star Trek. And then a couple other people. We got Austin St. John, Bam Margera, Blake Foster, Booker T is going to be there.
Data himself.
Brent Spiner.
The guy who played Data from Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah, David Yost is going to be there. So we're going to have 2 original Power Rangers. George Lowe, the guy who voiced Space Ghost. Who else? We got Jason Font's going to be there. So we got 2 Red Rangers and 2 Blue Power Rangers. Let's see, do we have anybody else? Kevin Sorbo is going to be there. Who else is going to be there? Oh, Steve Cardenas is going to be there too. So we got 3 Red Rangers. What?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
4? We got 3 Red Rangers and 3
canceled guests, so he's not coming to guest anymore.
Damn.
Dang it, Michael.
Talking to the mic, Josh.
Dang it. Wait, is that canceled guests? I can't tell because this website's terrible. Sorry, Colorado Springs Comic-Con. But
we'll get there.
Yeah.
But if you guys want a full list of any of the people that are going to be there, celebrity guests or cosplay guests or creators, obviously go to the website, cscomiccon.com. So that's the full list there.
David Mazzone was going to be there for the guy who played Bruce Wayne in the Gotham series. Crazy.
But not anymore.
All right, so we got a couple other people here. Let's see who's that. I know there's a couple of people. I mainly just
there's a couple of My Hero Academia people that I'm really excited to talk to. So that's good.
Did you ever talk to that Vegeta guy?
Chris Sabat?
Yeah, we talked the shit out of him.
Okay.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah. What have you guys been doing? Like, I really haven't talked to you guys that much lately either.
Twerking like a dog.
Yeah, I found out my boss is moving to Sioux City.
Salt Saint Marie. No, wait, that's a city
in Michigan?
No, Sioux City, Iowa.
Sioux City, Iowa.
Sioux Saint Marie is what I was thinking of.
And that's in Michigan.
Yeah. Salt Saint Marie is a town in some other place that's by.
No, Sioux Saint Marie is spelled Salt Saint Marie.
What?
Yeah, it's spelled really weird.
Yeah, it has an E in it too.
Yeah. The place you're thinking of, I'm pretty sure, is Sault Ste. Marie, and it's in Michigan.
No, there's one in West.
There's one in West.
Salt Lake City?
Salt Marie calendar?
Drew is...
Ticket to ride.
Oh, you're doing let's look at the Ticket to Ride map.
Salt Lake City?
No.
That's the one out west.
It's, where is it? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
So it's on the original Ticket to
Ride.
Ride.
Yeah, Salt Ste. Marie. Where is that?
That's in Michigan.
Oh.
And that's Sault Ste. Marie.
That's dumb.
It is.
They're stupid. Why do they spell it like that? Anyway, All right, I'm gonna get my foot out of my ass right now.
Which is stupid. I don't know why that's up there. Like it's a big town, but like it's still considered a town. I wouldn't consider it a city.
It's a port town though, isn't it?
It's still small. I mean, like you have like a big port area, and then that's it.
Yeah. But that's what things come from the ocean and the water through the Erie Canal into Sault Ste. Marie to their first stop on land, and then they go by train through the United States.
No.
Oh wait, hold on, pause.
No, not even.
You don't say the L or the T in that word. That's fucking ridiculous.
Ste. Marie. That's what it's called. Want to go? We can go. It's still a small town.
It's also SAULT.
Yeah. Sioux.
That's salt. That's salt.
I believe it's French.
So
I'm sure it's French.
It's
All of Michigan is either
100%
American, French, or some English.
All right, so
Cool.
we're gonna skip Nerd Battle this year or this week. Damn it, I say that every time.
Let's do it for the year. I'm okay with that.
Dale just sucks at nerd battles.
Danielle, welcome to the.
I thought that said Tasha.
Tasha has announced.
Welcome to the live stream.
I know this we're getting a little space trashy here.
Is that the TARDIS blowing up?
No, it's just space junk.
This is what would happen if the ISS got hit by something like a baseball sized.
No, I think that's what happens when somebody takes a bunch of different parts that look like they're from space and just photoshops them into an image.
Silver things.
Solar panels. Like that's the same one as
Screws
that.
and tidbits.
I feel like this is the same one as this, just Photoshop different. And this is the same that thing.
We do have a Photoshop expert.
We can't hear you, Drew.
I was way away.
And then you gotta come back when you get away.
Yeah, it's all
Come back.
this is all just Photoshop shit. Like that's a ladder. Why is there a ladder in
There's a ladder in space. You gotta climb.
Yeah.
You gotta climb on stuff.
No, that's an A-frame ladder, Dale. That's not like a rigged ladder that's
I think there's actually just over Drew's shoulder. It appears to be a TIE Defender flying away. Right over here, TIE Defender.
Nice.
That's fine.
Again, all you guys, this is great podcast material. We are so sorry anybody just listening to this and not seeing us. Make sure to check out our video on projectnerd.com. Project-nerd.com.
Or the Project Nerds YouTube. So let's see. What else we got, guys?
We have to change the logo on all the social media to like that. A legit regular, because it's all the Ocon logo still.
Well, yeah, I thought it got changed back.
No, I got to do that.
The email logo's this old logo.
The email?
Yeah, the email
I never
logo.
changed the email.
I know you don't change the email.
Why would I need to change the email?
Because it's the email. It's the email that we use.
Why would I need to illustrate water or gravel?
So Dale.
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
So do we have? Let's do an audience segment. Do we have any questions we want to ask any of us lovely? As I believe.
Josh be like, new hair, who dis? Yeah, Troy.
It didn't say he joined.
What?
It didn't say he joined, at least on my thing.
Good. No, it didn't say he joined on our thing either.
Yeah.
He's been watching the whole time.
He's naked in his profile picture.
He's using a VPN, can't see.
Troy is a coworker of mine.
Speaking of VPNs, we're sponsored by ExpressVPN.
No, we're not.
ExpressVPN now.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh, camera disappeared for. Oh my god, the camera just fell off of the back of the computer for Josh and Drew.
Don't slam your hand onto the keyboard.
Bam.
It's different because. Anyway, Troy. We already discussed that Josh's hair is great, his face is not.
I got this weird beard.
He's got weird beard. Hashtag weird beard.
Turn around to the back.
We already did that.
No. I like the shaved back.
Yeah, the fade. I said he got that sick fade though.
Yeah, okay.
This is not what I asked for, by the way. I just want to point that out.
Josh was like, I don't want to be able to feel my skin. And they were like, skin? Okay. Took a blade to his ears.
I shaved my head yesterday.
I shaved my mustache this morning.
I look like a cancer patient.
His man stash.
I trimmed my mustache. It was getting a little too long.
Gross.
So a couple things I want to talk about in nerdy news before we move on to sciencey news. I do want to get some questions from Dale. Can you comment in there, ask us questions or some shit like that?
Yeah. Marlene Jenkins joined us.
Jennings.
Marlene. Why?
I need glasses.
Dale's dyslexic, everybody.
Dale does have glasses. He just chooses not to wear them. Granted, when I wear glasses, you guys can see what we're typing.
No, honestly, I don't need glasses for stuff that's like right there. It just, I have to look like I'm not looking at it. Otherwise, I have to be like this.
So one of the things I want to talk about this week is something that's launching, or that has launched and is going to be coming out gradually with more products. Project Nerd, one of our great leaders, decided to, one of the great leaders from Project Nerd, that's what I meant to say, decided to start a new line a la Project Nerd Publishing, a la Project Nerd Podcasts. We're doing
apparel.
Yeah, it's apparel. And it's going to be a little more grunge urban styles, if you will call it that. The idea behind it is some of us, just because we are nerds and play video games and stuff, doesn't mean we also don't like to do things outside. Josh has his jumping stilts. Dale has his trains.
I have a hot pink skateboard too.
All I'm known for is trains.
I mean,
Sorry,
currently.
Pick a new thing.
Pick a new thing, Dale. Josh, you had a hot pink skateboard before?
I still do. I rode it over here one time, remember? I was dying after I did it because I'm fat.
I know. Dale's got his pens.
Look at that huge bic.
Dale, is it as cool as my pen?
It's cooler because it's in a SexyNerdScience. Hey, everybody mug.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
Look at, I'm wearing the t-shirt.
Now we're gonna bring down the backdrop.
You already knocked over a camera.
All right, say bye. All right. So Project Nerd Skate is a kind of a different thing than we've been doing for a while. They're starting off with some t-shirt apparel and stuff. So they got 5 designs plus our existing Project Nerd charity Stop Bullying design, the heart rainbow logo that we've had. So
different charities. So the PN Pride shirt is the heart logo. Stop Bullying is a bullying charity.
Yeah, I meant the charities.
Yeah, so we have a whole line of clothing that all goes to different charities. So make sure to check that out on Project Nerd Charities. Get it? Get it? Tease. I think it's hilarious. I love my PN Pride shirt because I got it pink because I like pink because that's my color.
Josh,
just like this dude over here with the PN Skate shirt, he's got a pink.
So I really like that PN Skate logo with the rainbow. I want that on a skateboard, and I've already expressed that to Iggy.
You know what I want? Skate shoes.
Are you wearing an Overwatch hat?
I am wearing an Overwatch hat. Dale. Who's this character?
Symmetra?
Yep.
It's hard to see.
Did you say Symmetro?
Symmetra.
By the way, if I would say that I was known for something, it would be trains, obviously. But the second thing would be Overwatch, because
I guarantee that.
I have tons of Overwatch. Like on my desk, I have an Overwatch mat. My background on my computer is Overwatch. I have Overwatch lanyards. I think I have.
What's the notification on your phone? Is it Overwatch related?
No.
Oh.
Do I need it to be Overwatch related?
It could be.
Incoming loot box.
Well, that'd be nice.
Or what is it? What's the one that says when the payload has been released or whatever?
You must construct additional pylons.
That's
that one.
That's
like that Overwatch one.
I would do that for the low battery alert on my phone.
That would be cool.
You need more Vaseline gas.
Anyway, so we're starting off with t-shirts. The other thing we're gonna go into though is skateboards. So it's skate decks. We've got 3 good logos right now. But I'm a big baby, and I want
popular with us. I mean, with the people in our group.
I mean, I like to skateboard. I just haven't for a while.
It was just okay, cool. I mean,
it's
Do you guys think we can get NERD to sponsor the podcast? Get
No.
Pharrell out here?
I wanted NERD to sponsor a podcast because that song that he does, Lemon. Have you heard that?
No.
I really want. I'll tell you about it later off the air because it's copyrighted. But anyway,
Nina, thank you for sharing the podcast. I think that's what you did.
Yeah, she's a sharer.
Yeah,
she shares because she cares. But they got 3 great logos for the skate decks. So those will be coming out soon. But also, I'm a big baby, like I was saying earlier, and I want a specific logo, and I want to skate it to hell. So I'm actually looked at getting skateboards literally like last Saturday, and then, or no, not even last Saturday. It was like Monday.
Check back to Project Nerd in 6 months where we all have broken ankles.
Yeah, right. So I wanted
like Joe Flacco.
I wanted to get a skateboard like 6 months ago before it was going to be winter, but then winter never stopped. So,
and then flooding started.
And you couldn't ride a skateboard in water. You'd be surfing. So, and then work happened, and then I couldn't do that either. So, but that being said, that's something that's coming down the pipeline. So get your skate shirts, your Project Nerd skate shirts from projectnerd.com/pnskate, project-nerd.com/pnskate.
PN-skate.
PN-skate. Should be P- and
links will be
skate.
in all the descriptions.
Links are in the shitty shoes.
So just check that out so we have the right one.
This link right here.
Yeah.
Dale, make this a link right here.
I'm not going to do that.
Do it right here. Plenty of advertising space.
Make my eyeball a link.
Everyone click his eye. It works. See, try it.
Button mash Drew's eyeball.
Click,
Oh,
click,
no.
click, click, click.
Yes, we do have the PN Turtle shirts too. The Turtle Shell shirts. Those are for Colorado Springs as well.
Yeah. I like those, but I also don't like them. And that's just my personal preference. So.
I'm just broke. I paid my car payment twice.
Yeah.
Because if Dale's the pen guy, I'm the Tesla guy. And Teslas cost money.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you double up on a car payment like a dumb.
Oh,
Like a dumb.
So, like I said, we're going to skip Nerd Battle. Let's blast off into Science-y news.
We're making
Loading
sciencey
briefcase currently
ideas.
with a Tesla Roadster in this space guy.
Josh, want to read us the science news? First one we got?
Well, so the first sciencey news that we have right now is that Tesla recently announced that they thank you. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Now Drew's going to bounce that way until acted on by another force. This has been
unless both you guys had not a rigid body, and then you would both fly off in that direction.
Sure. So Tesla has announced that they're bringing back unlimited supercharging for new Tesla customers for Model S's and Model X. This comes after technically a price drop in the Tesla Model S and Model X. I think you can get like a fully loaded Model X for about $80,000 now, which, I mean, only 80,000. Like, it has 100 miles of range. It's got the new drivetrain, or 100 kilowatt hour battery. Sorry, almost 400 miles of range.
Yeah.
It's got the new drivetrains in them. So instead of using the Permi battery, or instead of using a semi-permanent electric drivetrain, it uses a permanent magnet motor on the drivetrain. So those same motors that are in the Model 3s that make the Model 3s more efficient is now the same motor that's in the Model X and Model Y. So they increased efficiency there. They've got new shocks. This has been codenamed the Raven model, only because Tesla is not doing a new facelift or doing any major cosmetic changes to the S or the X. But yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, Josh, what have you been up to lately? We heard from me. We heard from Drew a little bit.
I said I went to Denver. That's my biggest thing.
What's your biggest thing?
So I went to Denver, and then I've been job hunting on the side a little bit. I'm not necessarily looking to leave my job, but if I could find something that pays me more money and I can have a little more responsibility, that's kind of where I pictured myself being at this point in time. This job was supposed to be kind of a stepping stone to a more larger department manager role, or not department manager, district manager role. And I just want more responsibility. So
Tasha has a question real quick. Dale, what is your go-to podcast color? I've just recently realized that Drew is purple to Josh's pink. Like, are you talking about like the t-shirts, or what color I prefer our logo against, or what?
what's your color, Dale?
Benjamin, welcome to the podcast. Ooh, Ben, how you doing? I like the dark blue. I honestly like dark blue for a thing. We have a Planet Comic-Con version of our logo, like we did for Ocon this year, from like 2017. And we had it on blue, and it's like a white background. Love it completely. Definitely would. Manliness. Oh yeah, manliness all abound. So I would say blue, but
Fuck your manliness.
Whoa, hey, kids podcast here.
Yeah, right.
Podcast.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Dicks.
After 4 years.
Sweet ass Project Nerd banner. What?
Now we're out of focus. There we go.
I got too excited.
Or it thought that these glasses were my glasses, and it's like, must focus on face.
Oh God, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I don't remember what we were
Well, you
saying.
interrupted Dale's beautiful blue T-shirt talk.
No, that was it.
And then I started singing Dark Blue by Jack's Mannequin.
Have you ever been alone in a crowded room?
What?
Hashtag Make America.
How is that possible?
What? How's what possible?
How is
It's a metaphor, fool.
clouded? What? How is it a metaphor?
Because even though you're surrounded by people, you still feel alone, Dale.
Okay. Sounds good.
Dale's like, I'm insensitive. I don't understand how feelings work.
So,
Beep boop robot.
Thanks, Josh.
oh.
Preach.
Hey everybody.
Yay. Marlene totally got it.
Hey everybody. Look at my wife.
Oh, I'm so glad we don't have the black on there. Should just be a floating head.
Oh man.
No,
That-
don't, because then
that's
everyone's
how it
going to see our...
I like this.
Don't do it.
Now we're gonna see our what?
They're going to see the background.
The green?
Yeah, and it should just be a floating head on a green screen, which is just
That's
like,
perfect.
that's how our photo lab worked.
Do you think people think there's actually a purple thing behind you?
We worked really hard to get new backgrounds for every single one of these images you guys are seeing. You can tell it's real because you can see our shadows on them.
Mhm.
Yeah. That real background. Don't push on it.
I'm not.
You're gonna tip it over. Look at my head falls. I don't feel so good, Tasha. Oh, I'm look
What
at
happens if we all lean back? Ah, the snap is happening. We need to stop this
Snapping.
madness.
Snappy.
Hi,
So
Dale.
Hi.
I'm going to talk in real time instead of...
Yeah.
30-second delays.
Delayed, yeah.
do you guys want to talk anything more sciencey or anything like that? I don't know.
I haven't found too much science news that's not like terrifying science news.
Yeah, you guys got to be better to each other. We got a lot of stuff going on in the past couple of days.
Definitely, yes.
Y'all got to be better.
What happened?
There's been a plethora of public shootings. So we just got to be nicer to people. You know, like treat. You know, I know nobody we just. You might not like other people. But
Probably my most successful Facebook post that I posted in a long time. That was my status of like, don't share the person's name, don't share their, don't share any information about them. Like, who cares about who committed this atrocity? Remember the victims, praise the heroes, forget the criminals.
and Josh, in doing so and talking about not drawing fame, Josh has drawn fame to himself by talking about how he posted not to draw fame.
That's
But
called
that should be the message.
acting humble.
So when I turned on the news today, on Sunday, I was still seeing like 24-hour news coverage of the stuff. And
Well, the thing about it though is, were they all the same Like, because
It
there's
was
been
all,
three.
here's the guy. Here's
There's
his
been
motivations.
Three in the last like 5 days.
Yes.
7 in the last 10 days or something, or 5 in the last 7 days or something like that.
It's been a lot. Too many. But it's just something that I think a lot of people...
You're supposed to be on my side, Mom.
Sorry. I just think a lot of people now are doing it to, like, it's a high score in a video game, and I don't want it to come down to that. But I think that's the world we live in right now, and it's
I saw
sad.
a post a few months ago that I actually
Leaderboards are important, but not in this case.
And I thought it was pretty funny / kind of true. And it says, people say video games make you violent, but hundreds of years ago, we burned people alive for being witches. So probably humans are just garbage.
Do you know how many people are actually burned at the stake?
What I'm saying is we've done a million
1
things before.
million people burned at
I'm
the
just saying.
stake.
We didn't really burn people or drown them. We just hung them. Probably the easiest way to kill them.
I mean, so the Salem witch hunts were not true?
For the most part. I mean, they were witch hunts, but we just didn't necessarily... They weren't very successful.
Yeah,
And
they didn't find any witches.
Yeah, we didn't burn people or like...
I never got that. If you sink to the bottom, you weren't a witch.
Yeah, because you couldn't magically take yourself out.
Well, didn't they realize after the first time, like, oh shit, that wasn't a witch?
Well,
We just
that
killed
was-
somebody.
There's
Yeah,
a reason why they didn't do that.
I never understood
Like
those
one
books.
person killed by stone or by crushing, and then everybody else was hung.
do you think empirical data was really good back then, Josh?
I mean, we made
Yes.
headstones that was like, here lies Taddy Mason, crushed.
Damn.
Like, I mean,
It's not Taddy Mason. Did Taddy Mason call, by the way?
Taddy. But mommy's always on your side, son.
Oh. Oh, she didn't say mommy. Don't make it weird.
Thanks, Mom.
But
Thanks, son.
yeah, there has been some scary things with Ebola going on. I don't necessarily want to be like, hey guys, run away from Ebola, but
Are you guys still talking about bad stuff?
kind of.
It's always the bad stuff.
Oh,
Bad
shit. When was this?
Just now.
Omaha mass shooting in Omaha thwarted by OPD. Omaha police department have foiled a mass shooting plot by a 32-year-old man. The man identified as Scott.
No,
Mason.
shut up.
Whatever.
Well,
But they found a bunch of guns. He was headed to Westroads Mall.
No matter what, Josh, you're gonna have to have the guy's name. Just don't constantly show it. Saying it, and then that's it.
We don't even need to. Some stupid asshole in Omaha tried to commit a mass shooting. He's locked up now.
Yeah, but not saying his name is not going to help anything
Why?
because everyone's going to want to know that information.
Why?
They're still going to find out. People want to know.
I don't think they care to know who it is.
I think you'll be surprised.
If this dude doesn't
I
show up
wanna
to work
know.
tomorrow, guys.
I want to know because I want to know anybody who might be related to him or in connection with him. Like I get you're not trying to make them
famous.
to make them famous. I
Yeah,
get that part,
I get that 100%.
but I want to know who it is because if it was somebody Gebby, like I would want to know that, hey,
Debbie.
Yeah.
if your mom was like, hey, I'm going to go to Washington Park because that's the closest place to get to, like I would want to know the people who are around her to also not be around them or like.
But it's not contagious.
I know it's not contagious, but
Contagious, Josh. How do you not?
It's
you don't know?
what is contagious
You know?
is the infamy and the fame. That is what's contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing who the person is not, unless you're a police officer, it's not going to help you in any sort of way.
I mean,
You could shame their friends and be like, why didn't you stop this from happening? Which is not productive.
I would shame you, Josh.
I understand you. You do already. They're literally, the first half of this podcast was how ugly my beard looks.
That's true. That's true.
I also advertised on Drew's forehead. Lots of real estate.
Like Link.
Modine's
3.
But yeah, so, I mean, there's some crazy stuff happening. And I think a lot of it is now, I mean, I don't like, one of the people I follow on Facebook posted this, and they're a little overreacting, but there are things on like 4chan where people are literally making scoreboards and bets with each other about who can go do the next mass shooting and take more lives.
Well, and
That is a thing. Like,
Gross.
but that is specifically like specifically the point of
Why the name
should be given out. Because just for instance, if I was big into 4chan or whatever, the Reddit or whatever, and I saw, I remember that person's name in that thread, can I backlog it or find it and maybe give some of that information to somebody?
Right.
Like,
so
there's people out there who.
Do you think your ability to do that's going to be being the police and FBI and everybody else?
Yes, that's crowdsourcing.
Yeah, because
I think there is a difference between what me and Drew was talking about, being or making the guy famous and actually just releasing his name. Like, I think I recently watched The Newsroom, which is a HBO show about a newsroom, and they
a couple years old.
Yeah. And they I watched shows late. One of the episodes, I think, was the Boston bomber, I believe, or it could have been a shooting. It could have been whatever. What they did is they showed the guy's picture. They said, "This is the guy's name." They took it down and they said, "The rest of the show, we're going to be calling him John Doe or whatever." They said, like, we won't be referring to the guy anymore. And they didn't talk about his name for the rest of the show. Obviously, I don't know. It was, a cut for that. But that's how they should do it. They should show it. That's the end of it. There you go.
That's still too much
for you.
No, for anybody.
For you.
You.
For you.
It's not for me. Fine. I mean, it's for me. It's for CNN. It's for all these other news agencies that said this is what they're going to not do anymore.
They're gonna show it.
Outlets now.
They're gonna show it, and then they're gonna try not to make the guy famous.
Like,
great. And that video ends up on YouTube.
The people
played over and over and over again with the guy's face and name.
Well, they're gonna do it over and over and over just because people don't watch the same.
Well,
great. You know what? How you can stop that from happening? Don't post it.
No, people still have to know what.
No, because people are gonna search for it. Like,
don't post it.
No,
if everybody in the news didn't post it,
it's public knowledge, Josh. It's people are going to look for it.
You can look for it in the trial. Then, but then all you're saying is, so and so's trial for the murder of so many people. But
I think what gets ridiculous is when people make a picture quote out of it with all the facts and everything and plaster it on one image. If it's a news article from a news station, they're 99% all copy paste. One person writes it, the rest of them just take the same fucking issue and issue it somewhere else. But what I don't think is right is when people take all the facts and plaster their picture up and put it in a Facebook post, and they're not a news outlet, and they're not. I can agree with you there. I get that. And I know what you're going to say. That wouldn't happen if they didn't release the images and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But just because somebody wants to, just because somebody, you don't want the information to go out and make them famous doesn't mean that it shouldn't be given out.
But the problem is the frequency of these things happening and the frequency that they are literally, like, the one that happened 24 hours after was just to top the one that happened before.
14 hours.
That's exactly why it happened.
I know, but it doesn't matter. But the fucking thing is it doesn't matter the name of the person. That person's still going to try and top it.
But as we continue to sensationalize that somebody's doing this, and we keep putting that dude's name out there, they're all over. So you
just want no media coverage 100%.
You can cover the media all you want. Like I said,
then that's still,
remember the
that victims. Is still hit. That's still a benchmark for that needs to be hit for somebody else. That's still a benchmark.
You don't have to say who did it.
Well, it doesn't matter.
You can say piece of shit XYZ, or give him whatever, you can call him John Doe. It doesn't matter. This person, and you can refer to him as this person. You can still report the news. But the one thing, too, I just want to touch on here, I saw Ashley Queen's post on here about it being public information. While crimes convicted are public information, crimes where you are a suspect are not public information.
Okay, but
so after he's convicted, that's fine. But then there's also a time period of dying down.
What are you talking about? Crimes where you're not a public.
If it's an alleged crime, it's not technically public information, right? So what Josh is saying is, even though he went out and shot a bunch of people, and there's physical evidence, he's not convicted of it yet. So that means that he's not actually the murderer until that's the case.
And being a subject is public information.
But that's public information if the people go out and find that information and then release it. It's not required by the police to give out that information.
Not required by police to give out the information of anything.
Of a convicted felon, yes, it is.
No, it's not required by them to release the name.
He's agreeing with you.
No, the press asks for it, and they're going to give it. They want it anyway, so then they usually make a public statement to give it out. No one has to give out the information; just people want it, so that's why they make the public statements.
But it is public record when they are convicted. You can go through and find any, because that's in the court logs. That's everything.
To your point, Josh, or not to your point, against your point, if you say John Doe killed 22 people, John Doe doesn't matter. You're right. The name doesn't matter. Somebody's still going to go, oh, 22, I can beat that, and try it themselves.
And then they'll be John Doe.
That's great. 28. We can do that. Somebody else. John Doe 3 goes out.
Drew's saying that it doesn't matter what the guy's name is.
Matter what the guy's name is. So, but on the same side, to know their name gives those people that were around them some I guess maybe a kick in the face. Oh shit! I knew, dude, John Doe.
The people around him is going to know, though. I mean, that's not going to.
You don't need the media for that.
I understand. I understand you don't need the media for that, but 6 degrees of separation wise, if I didn't work with him, but hey, Josh worked with him, that could have been Josh that was dead. Like, oh, I'm so glad you're alive. Maybe that's a little, I don't know. I think
making the person famous or infamous by giving out their name is what is the problem.
I don't agree.
That's literally the cause of this last mass shooting we had.
No, making it famous, yes, but making them just releasing the information does not mean that it's going to be famous.
The problem is, Dale, you got to think of how
you name the shooter. Can you name any of the shooters right now who you are? Like, and can you know any of their names?
I've made sure anytime it was even close to showing a picture of somebody or a name since, I mean, after Aurora, I stopped. I do not know any of the shooters' names.
Okay, what about the Boston bomber?
I don't know any of their names.
Okay.
I don't know any
I don't
of that
either,
stuff.
and I looked that information up.
That's great.
I mean, it's in one ear and out the other after you go, shit, that's a fucking shitty thing to do.
But there are people that know the name Robbie Hawkins from the Crossroads Mall shooting years ago.
Yeah, because he was literally in our community. Those people know their stuff in their communities because they were affected by it.
There's people in other communities that know that. We know Timothy McVeigh as the Oklahoma City bomber.
Yes, but I think at that time was a different time where it was the TV was the only thing you had, and so you had to get the information out as best as possible. Now I
totally think that's true, but in today's day and age, 5 minutes of fame is all anybody wants. That's how we consume media.
No, I agree, but that 5 minutes is all it's going to be nowadays.
That's fine, but that's what these people are doing these crimes for, is for the 5 minutes. That's all they want because that's how we consume media now.
No, I get it.
We sensationalize. It's literally next week. It'll be the next big story. What if it's not kids in cages? If it's not
okay, but what about the people who are dead? What about the people who do the murder suicide?
Remember the people who are dead that do murder suicide?
What about the people who are killing themselves after they shoot people?
The same thing. They're
so where is
do you
there?
Understand what the definition of infamy is? Like, you don't have to be like you don't have to get any royalties from it. Your name gets remembered for that crime, and they know even if they do kill themselves at the end that they're going to be plastered all over the media.
Everyone wants to be in history books.
Is going to be out there.
And I think people think that they're going to be in history books.
But even then, like, so right now we have rhetorical posts going all over the internet of people bringing up this person's political identity, saying that it's Donald Trump's fault, saying that it's Obama's fault, saying that it's Democrats' fault. Like, they're using it to polarize people, all because we took this person's identity and found out all this extra stuff about. They'll blame video games. They'll do other things.
I think the only thing about their identity that matters, regardless of their name, is the fact that they're not a person of color. Like, that's the only thing that people are actually going for is, hey, that's not somebody that we need to be afraid of because we have the white people doing it. And
no, but when they are people of color, it's the same thing. When it was the Boston bombers, everyone was scared of Muslims again for another 6 years. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where that all matters. Like, just don't talk about the people who are shooting. You don't need to. You can have a media empire where you never once mention the criminals, and all you can say is, let's remember these people whose lives were lost, the heroes that were there. Put a bigger light on the heroes. You will make people not want to be infamous from this thing. That's all I'm saying.
I disagree
it requires
with that.
all of the media to do it.
I'm saying I agree with you 100%, Josh. Don't focus on the guy who's doing all the killings, but I think I want to say naive to think that it's not having the guy's name. If you have the guy's name up there for, like you said, the beginning of a broadcast, mention it, show his picture once, and then or the other option, not doing that, I don't think it's going to matter.
I agree. I think because of the whatever deep rooted community that these people have, like you said earlier, they're gonna know without the name being out, right? I mean, assumingly. The other people that you said, there's people on 4chan, for instance, that might have some sort of scoreboard.
People in the community with crowdsourcing and the internet, it's if the police or the media didn't post the name, it's still going to get out there through social media.
It'll definitely get out there if there's convictions, and I'm not saying.
I think we need to move off the topic though.
For that fast. Why? This is the best part of the podcast we've had. We've had more engagement.
No. You guys have an anonymous comment.
We do?
Yeah, she said, good on you guys for talking about this topic. I think the big problem is society is not taking care of people's mental health. I don't know could you hear any of that, Dale?
No, can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, she said, good on you guys for trying to talk about this topic. I think the big problem is society is not taking care of people's mental health. And she followed up with, this topic is so good. My master's thesis was on a lot of these guys. So she appreciates you guys talking about it.
I don't see that at all. So thank you, Tasha.
No, she PM'd it to me.
It was personal message.
Gotcha.
Anonymous.
But I think that, there's been a couple comments in here talking about how this is an insane person. This is someone with mental health issues. All that is true. I think that is, we definitely don't take mental health seriously here. And this isn't just if we did one, I'm not saying that just removing a person's name is is going to be the solve all solution. It's not. Just making sure that people don't know the shooter's name is not going to solve it. We need to take care of people's mental health. We need to have a better sense on, we need to have more common sense gun legislation. I know we keep talking about it. It's a very divisive issue, but that's something that we need to have. We need to make sure that, like I said, and that combines with the mental health things. It's like climate change. Me driving an electric car is not going to solve climate change. It's going to take 100,000 people, 100 million people changing their lives entirely to fix the problem of climate change. It's the same thing here. It's going to take most of our population doing things to curb this issue. And I just think,
and unfortunately,
it's naive and short-sighted for me to say, oh, I wish the media would do this.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean it's not going to work.
No, I agree. I think it's pointless either way. It's not going to help one thing or the other. I think that unfortunately the world, or at least the United States, is so polarized with, if you have a view one way or the other, you're considered either evil or non-evil based on who you stick by. I have a lot of conservative ideas or ideals. We'll go with ideals. But if I try to label myself a Republican or label myself as, more conservative, 9 times out of 10, 99 out of 100, you're somebody who supports Trump, or you're somebody who supports, Mitch McConnell, or these people, just because, I am a Republican, or you associate with these. No, I'm not associated with those people. I have ideals that line up with the conservative beliefs or Republican beliefs. I also have liberal ideals, and that line up with Democratic beliefs. And so it's hard for me to link with one or the other, but that's how the world is right now. You have to pick a side. You don't have to. But in real life, you almost have to. And until we get out of that, I don't think, no matter what we talk about, this shooting, mental illness, anything, it's not going to happen, because we need to get over that first. And once we get over that, then we can start talking about, the more important things.
You're asking everybody in America to change how they... honestly, I think the best way to do that's in education.
20, 30 years ago, if you were a Republican or a Democrat, people might have said an off the cuff like, "Oh, you're a Republican, that's funny." Now it's people getting in fights over this shit. People, posting shit all over the internet. It's one of those things where it wasn't just I could have voted for a Republican or a Democrat. Like I said, 30 years ago. Let's go with original Bush or Clinton, and the people had strong ideas of what they believed or what they stood for. But I would say a third of those things are now switched based on immigration, based on healthcare, based on tons of different things.
I do want to say that we need to not look back at the past with rose-colored glasses, because I think if you just consider 30 years ago, the other things that were going on, systemic racism more than there is now. 30 years ago, we're talking the crack epidemic. We're talking.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like
in LA.
I'm saying that when you had
polarizing issues, then not Republican or Democrat, and then if you go even 100
polarizing,
like
right now you can't get anything through any type of Congress or any type of legislation because of how polarizing it is.
Yeah,
if you step over the aisle for anything, you're almost you're done. You have to commit. I
don't want to worry people, but this isn't the first time in U.S. history that this has happened. In the 1850s, 1860s, and then very early on in the country's creation, it was the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. Ever since we created political parties, this has kind of been a reoccurring issue about something, about some things, even whether it's, federalism or like statehood. There's different things that have happened throughout United States politics history. It's not fair to say that 30 years ago we didn't have these problems. We totally did.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying
to political. You got to think even almost just a little after 30 years ago. Not even 30 years ago we had a president who was impeached.
No, I'm not trying to say that. Well, that was for a non-political issue.
Still, but it was hugely political.
I'm not trying to belittle what the problems of 30 years ago were, or I'm trying to say that working together 30 years ago between the two political parties, I believe was easier than it is today.
I think I would say that that's accurate, but I think just not even working together as like in the actual, like as actual politicians, but civilians, everyday civilians.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Are more divided now than ever, and I don't think that that's something that is. There have been times where the divide was great. You had a pretty great divide just even when Obama was in office. But I think, and
let's not forget we had a civil war.
Yes, but there's a little bit of a difference as far as the amount of people in general that, how many people were in the United States during the Civil War total?
A lot.
A couple million.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple million is Texas. A couple million is California.
Percentage of people affected by the Civil War was a huge percentage of people. Like, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think it's like 1 in 7 people died in the United States.
22 million northern, 9 million southern. That was that was all the population.
Like it's crazy to think that. These issues. I think one of the things that we didn't have nearly as much as we do now 30 years ago.
618,000 died.
618,000 out of 9 million, 10 million?
Out of 22 million?
Out of 30 million.
Out of 30 million.
30. Okay. I didn't catch
so
that
that's
number.
What's that?
Percent-wise?
Percent-wise. Less than 1 million died. Yeah. So you're looking at less than 1/30th.
Yeah. I guess I think of like adult maybe it was adult male population, 1 in 7 died, something like that. I mean, it was at the time, it was the way that we consumed media too. If you look back at newspaper articles from the 1850s, 1860s, and the rhetoric that was in newspapers, it's the same thing. It's Republicans, Democrats, Dixiecrats. It's the same rhetoric that we're throwing around now, the same mudslinging.
Some of those were made up, weren't they?
No. Southern Democrats were called Dixiecrats.
Sorry.
I think back then though, during the Civil War, becoming a state was still a thing. Becoming a country was still new. A lot
we
of
weren't
not just our country. We were still becoming obviously a more concrete country, but other nations who were previously ruled by UK and a few others, France and whatnot, were becoming their own countries. And because of all these independence, the South thought that was the easiest way, or people from the South thought that was the easiest way.
And you got to think too.
Today, that's not a thing. Today, that's not
Enlightenment period too is what we would classify as the 1800s, and the early 20th century was post-Enlightenment, before we have modern thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, again, like the way that we consumed media has changed. And I know, again, I'm not trying to make this full circle, but it kind of is going to go full circle. I think that it was harder for everybody to have I don't want to say educated opinion, but everyone has a supported opinion through some media outlet now, one way or the other. And it's quick. It's easy for us to reference. And I think that's what makes it very polarized.
No, I think that's always been there. It just different ways.
No, I mean,
you had more local newspapers.
You go and get an alternative idea. Yeah, you're right. You had a local newspaper.
You had more local newspapers. You also had more, I would say, community leaders or more
so
people.
Something happened 4 years ago or 4 hours ago in 1980. How would you be able to report on it to all your friends?
TV
in the 80s?
You're talking about if something happened, you would report on it via the TV.
Yeah, I mean, news crews would be there within.
Think of how long it took for everyone to find out the Challenger exploded. I mean,
6 hours?
I bet it was longer. I bet it was a couple days. I bet there was plenty of people that were working in farms in the middle of the country that had no idea that.
I disagree because of radio.
Even then, I bet it
wasn't.
It's one of those things where it's definitely not as instant.
Challenger
as it
wasn't
is now.
the teacher one, was it?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
Like didn't people literally watch that happen?
That was like it was a hugely televised event.
Right. So you're marginalizing farmers and people who probably aren't watching TV.
You're marginalizing people who doesn't have the internet.
I'm taking one of the most popular events of the time, the most well-watched events of the time, and trying to say, even something that great, how long did it take to travel to the same amount of people that it would now? But in the age of Twitter, the internet.
No, I mean, I definitely agree that. But now those people weren't. The time is different. Those people weren't sitting waiting like everybody is to share the next thing, to be the first person to share XYZ.
That's what I'm saying is the problem.
No.
I don't understand.
But what you're saying is how long did it take, blah, blah, blah. But it's not how long did it take because I don't know, whatever.
I'm saying that the rate at which we are exposed to information might possibly be part of the problem too as well.
Oh, I know, but I don't think anybody disagreed with that.
Because we are able to...
No, I disagree with that.
Opinions based off of... we can find, within hours, I could find out who the most recent shooter voted for in an election because that was media, that was news. Whereas that kind of information 25, 30 years ago wasn't going to be easily accessible to me. I mean, even then, Timothy McVeigh being a good example of that in the 90s, we didn't have any of that information. Most people didn't even know who Timothy McVeigh was when he first got arrested because of the fact that it was a slow process for America to find out.
My mom said when Reagan was shot, we found out the day before we even went to school.
Yeah, Carrie, welcome. Jordan, welcome.
It's a couple hours.
People are definitely oversaturated with information, And I think that's a reason why people are hard or have trouble trusting a lot of things they see on Facebook or social media, or even the internet altogether, because it's so quick. But I would say that people were more trusting of internet or of information that took longer. So any information that took longer to get to you, if it was correct or not, that feel like it was more towards their way regardless. And what I mean by that is, like when we signed the Declaration of Independence, it took like a month before before King George actually got the Declaration of Independence.
Well, it took something like 4 days, 4 or 5 days to sign for everybody to even sign it.
It took years for all the people to even sign it.
Was it?
Yeah. King George got a copy before everybody signed the other official one that we have.
So what I'm saying is the information traveled based on, so let's say like that was by ship. Fastest you get across the ocean was something happened in England, like an explosion or a death or suicide, something like that. The information to travel like that, it'd take weeks or, like I said, a month or something, let's say. That information, once it gets to the United States or gets to like, oh, he passed away or this person died or this person did this, I would still say that information was more heavily weighed on. It was more truthful. Does that make sense?
I think yes, in the sense that the longer we take to delay information from getting out, when it has to go through editors, publishers, printing processes, the more accurate that information tends to be. Whereas usually our first couple posts of something, now we want it fast. Now.
Exactly. So now people are going to think it's doctored or flubbed up if it takes too long. If they had to cover up tracks or whatever. I mean, you've got so many tin hat people who aren't even tin hat people. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, and while I know Bobby's posted in here too that there was a she found out about the Reagan assassination. My question would be, did you find out the political motivations of, or not assassination, but the shooting? Did you find out the political motivations of the shooter the same day that you also found out that Reagan was, there was an attempted assassination on the president?
So you're looking at more information on the secondary information than the first?
But how fast? Because as of in today's modern time, that's something that we report on heavily. We do want to know what race the person was. We do want to post what political affiliation they have. We want to post what sort of, was there mental illness in there? Where did they get their gun? Were they, it's all these different things because we have some sort of political agenda to go with the news that we're also putting in there, because we know that political agenda will continue to sell the division in looks.
I agree, but I think that's always been there.
I think we're
yellow
fighting.
Journalism has been.
We're fighting two different fights at the same time, or not fights. We're having two different arguments or disagreements at the same time. One of them the arguments was the divide, and that whether or not it's greater now than it was before, but also now we're also talking about the quality of information versus the time it takes to get that information, and or what information we're asking. I think generally I'd still say we're more divided now because there's 12-year-olds commenting on, younger people back then didn't, I would say, had less political footnote than they do now. What was that face for? No,
we had the Nazi youth.
But that was more forced too.
But that's what and it isn't now.
Today, no, I think that
you think 12-year-olds are coming up with genuinely unique political ideas.
No. But I'm saying that they have the option to get multiple views. I'm saying they're not
they like, and then they regurgitate
exactly based on what their family says.
High schooler who read Kurt Vonnegut being like, "I'm enlightened now." Like,
I'm saying that more weight goes behind somebody online than it did back in the day when kids were seen, not heard.
For sure. But I think 12-year-olds back then and 12-year-olds now have the same. They don't necessarily know the politics. There are a few that do, and there's
a difference though, because this is my general understanding. Back then, kids were taught by their parents. So the 90% of the time, if the parent was taught one way, the kids thought the other way. Yeah. But they didn't have a platform to voice that opinion. They didn't have a space to speak on those things.
Or they couldn't at such a young age.
Or they couldn't at such a young age.
They had to wait until they were 16 to 18 to, or maybe a little older, once they got into the real world.
I mean, yeah.
The real world now, fucking 10-year-olds can get to.
Yeah, well, because they didn't have access. We didn't. That's again. I think we might think that 12-year-olds have political ideas separate, helping the divide between people, but I think those ideas aren't original thoughts. Most of them are not going to be original thoughts. They're going to be
nobody's thoughts are original thoughts.
But they're not to the sense where we would say that you came up with that idea on your own. I don't think, let's talk about when people, decided to stop believing in God, or if they ever did. We would say now that those kids, were indoctrinated into a church and then eventually fell out of whatever reason because they made the decision up on their own. Yeah, it's not a 100% original idea to be atheist, but they came to that decision on their own. I don't think that a 12-year-old today versus a 12-year-old in the 50s would have any difference in only being able to spit out what they were taught by somebody else, almost word for word, not without fully understanding it even. There are a few exceptions, and I will say that there are people now that, like I said, there's a 13-year-old Nobel Prize possible candidate.
I'm confused.
I'm so
protesting
confused.
Global warming.
Did the church thing confuse you, Dale?
I just think that 12-year-old kids don't have original thoughts.
Doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they don't have original thoughts, but it also doesn't mean that they can't take a side and voice that opinion more than they could.
Yeah, that was my point.
I don't think that they do it any more or less. I think we hear it now because we give 12-year-olds a platform on social media.
No, I agree.
But that's what I'm saying is, I'm saying those kids may have had the same amount of kids, may have had the same amount of views as their parents, but they can voice those opinions, and they're not sitting on their couch watching a 12-inch tube television anymore. They're just regurgitating what their parents or whatever their people they look up to say.
So if there was the same divisiveness we had then, if it didn't change, then it would be the same we have now.
I think, but you
think it is worse because we're giving a voice to those people. I'm thinking that those people just have a voice now. We're hearing it more, but it's no worse.
Yeah, but if a tree falls in the forest, the same. Nobody's around to hear it.
Yes.
Does it make a sound?
We've talked about this.
Okay,
Barkley is a terrible philosopher.
Yes, but if those kids aren't able to voice those opinions, if they have those opinions, they're not voicing them.
They voice those opinions. They just don't voice those opinions to us.
No.
If you think a 12-year-old girl in the 60s wasn't calling a black girl the N-word or colored, then you're wrong.
No, I think they were. I think they were. I think they had opinions based on what their family was.
Exactly.
Same with today, though.
So now if a 12-year-old's parents are racists, that 12-year-old comes out and is racist online, and we just hear it. It doesn't mean that it didn't exist or that it's worse now.
But do you think that it can't? Do you think that it can't contribute? So you're saying you don't think it contributes to the divide greater now than it did back then?
My case is that the divide is not worse now than it was almost since the dawning of our country. What I'm saying is the amount of attention we put towards the divide is greater now than any other time, say maybe the 1860s.
I would say that our divide is obviously not as... There's a lot of things in this country that pulls us together. And I don't want to say that pulls us together. I mean, we both Democrats and Republicans think that these things are just their Democrat or Republican. People think that, like the Detroit Tigers. I go to see the Detroit Tigers game, and I think, oh, those Detroit Tigers. I don't know why, but I'm here. All my friends are here. These people. This is a good, wholesome team. That's because they agree with all my views. Somebody who's Republican or vice versa, comes in that I'm here with all my friends. I think they agree with all my views. We both have more things that can push us together than divide us. So from the 1860s, yeah, we're not going to have a civil war again. I'm confident with that. I think there's too many people that have different views in the same community. That's not. There's no way we're going to have another civil war. I'm saying that
either, but
because of our views individually, we are more divided from our neighbors only because we have to link ourselves to an idea.
But I don't think we have to link ourselves to that idea.
No, I don't think so either.
Part of the way the media does it, part of the way social media does it, is it asks us to make those divides, and we contribute to those. We
100%.
Those when we watch polarizing news sources. We contribute to those when we write our political affiliation on our Facebook pages that then targets ads to us based off our political affiliation.
No,
when we
100%.
participate in Twitter. Like I said, the information, I don't think the divide is any worse, but the amount of people being able to say, hey, I have an opinion, that is easier than ever. It's easier for me. My soapbox is bigger now than it has been in 200 years. Like I said,
the average Joe. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The revolution before would probably be the only other time that I think that there was this much political divide in the United States. But again, not in public. Back then in the revolution, any idiot could get up on a bar stool, get a whole entire town together, and then go start a riot and dump tea in the harbor. That is a thing that happens, but that's the same kind of society we live in right now. Except instead of a bar, I can orchestrate a rally and get 250,000 people to show up in March in Washington, D.C.
I don't think that we're anywhere close to any revolutionary war or civil war numbers.
I'm not saying that we're going to have a war.
No, I know. No, I'm just saying as far as politically divided, I don't think we're even close to any of those percentages of division.
It was pretty 50-50 as far as as far as our Congress was concerned in the 1800s.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more the amount that we want. How can I say this? I guess there's not really a quantity of something that would divide us. I believe our ideals as Americans are more politically connected than divided than they were in any wartime scenarios. Best I can say it. Best way I can say it right there.
And why do you think that's the case?
Why today we are less divided?
Why would you say that? What do you think? What is evidence to support?
Like I said, is that we have things, like I said, the Tigers. A lot of people, regardless of, there was nobody, even when the United States was brand new, it was less than 100 years from when George Washington took office as the president to the Revolutionary War or the Civil War starting. It was 60 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Less than that, I think.
Because we put stuff in, there was already things in the political framework to set up the Civil War when we started the country.
Because we are more states by state instead of country by country. And so that's why now as a country, now as a more stable background, that we have more to agree upon than we did back then.
So your argument is that we're not more divided now.
Yeah, well, it's always been that. We're definitely way more than the wars. Yeah, definitely. We are way more connected than the wars. But I think if you were to look at a graph of some kind, the war's up here, then we, came together as time came on. We've been kind of coasting for a little while, maybe some ups and downs, obviously, based on political parties and whatnot. And then when we get to recently, our political divide has come up. From where it is to the war, no, of course not. I think it's completely.
Yeah, nobody. I don't think either of us were saying the war, like the Civil War, was the greatest divide, or that
we're greater than the Civil War.
I don't think we're greater than the Civil War. We are greater now than we have been in any of our lifetime.
I would say 100 years. I'm going to say 100 years.
And that's not necessarily just like...
It's an arbitrary number, too.
Yeah. I mean, actually 100 years is a perfect time. We just finished a world war. Yeah.
We didn't. Oh, yeah, we did, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not a divide. The world war is not...
That's a uniting thing.
Yeah, that's a uniting thing.
At that point in time. Which also, again,
so
we're at it.
There's that real low number.
that shouldn't be a unite. Like, it shouldn't take a war or an act of terror or something like that to make America forget about the things that separate.
It's a common thing. You have a common enemy, and that's, I mean, whatever the war is.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know. I see a lot of posts too where someone's like, if we could go back to 9/12, 9/12 was the greatest day in America. And I'm just like, I don't necessarily agree to that either.
Like the day after 9/11?
Yeah, because they were like, oh, everyone came together as Americans. I was like, yeah, but then like my neighbors also like threw stuff at Muslims that lived in the neighborhood.
Other neighbors.
Yeah, like I'm like, this is also, I mean, you guys, because it wasn't that big here in Nebraska, if I had to guess, I bet every person of even just brown skin was probably worried about something like that happening. Because
sure, they still are today.
Oh, sure. And so, I mean, I don't even want to say, like, as much as people like to romanticize 9/12 as this day where we came together as people, I just think the divide never went away.
For posterity's sake, I've literally never heard that. So
you've never seen those posts on Facebook?
I've never heard
no, don't bring it up. We'll just describe it because this is an audio podcast after all.
Yep.
It's a street, you see a normal everyday American street, and then it says 9/11. It's just this normal American street, and then 9/12. You see every house on the block has an American flag. And so it's kind of like this tragedy.
So you're saying the people's priority was to show their patriotism instead of like find a way to help everybody? And
no, it wasn't one or the other like that. It was more of a people just came together to get the enemy.
Yeah. It was, I mean, our largest flag sales day in a long time too.
That's what it was.
But I mean, I think, and my whole opinion is, like I said, I don't think those opinions or things have changed since day one. I think we've always been divided. It's just the reason why we think it's worse now is because it's more in our face now. Like slavery in the 1700s when we were a country wasn't a big political dividing situation because it wasn't in everybody's face.
That's probably not going to be what I want it to be.
Talk about what you're doing, Drew.
Nope.
Dale, yeah, he's just Googled national divide graph.
Okay.
But
it's hard. It's hard to really put a quantity on that. Like
it's hard to put numbers in it.
What do you measure? You know, it's your patriotism. Your I don't know. I get it's hard. It's hard.
This is just 2016 and above. Yeah, I
know we kind of went from like obviously the mass shootings to this divide of the country kind of thing, but honestly, that is where you have to start with these kind of conversations because they're just going to get more polarizing. How you or I feel. Obviously, nobody wants a shooting. That's all across the board. Nobody wants that. The solutions to how that would work, a lot of people want immediate answers, and with immediate answers, that's take away a gun or restrict people from doing something or add a let's check everybody's health or something like that. Those are the immediate answers.
The Newsroom is the show that everyone always posts that scene where he gives the speech where
America's not the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, that's from the episode
one. Line, and I think it's still important here that, to start solving a problem, you have to recognize that there is one. And the problem being at that time that America is no longer the greatest country in the world. I don't necessarily think that's true, but I think it's one of those things where, like, I think the reason why we're talking about all these things that are negative and what causes them is because we are asking for opinions. We're trying to find out what we think the cause of the problems is because once we can narrow down what the cause is, then we can begin to fix it. And that's why it's important to be able to have conversations like this.
But without conversations saying like, well, I think it could be this, just because you say I think it could be this, it could be politically motivated or
and it's easy
other
for
motivated
3 friends on a podcast to have this conversation than it is for the rest of America to have this
I don't
conversation.
know about you guys, but I'm not your friend.
Yeah, whatever. Tell that to the free salsa you give me. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
That's right.
But I mean, it's one of those things where we just,
We're now sponsored by Scott's Pico.
if
from
we
the old
should
market.
totally do that.
I'm down.
But
Scott.
I think we need to kind of get things wrapped up a little bit here.
Yeah.
But I think the message we should end on is,
Bye. Click.
is that, this is a time where we need to be able to have conversations like this. Whether you agree, disagree, things like that, you need to be open.
The people that voted for Clinton or the people that voted for Trump, it's not 100% they agree with everything that's going on. So please know that, and please try to.
By Clinton, you mean Hillary, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hillary.
So real quick, I just want to. This is something that I saw today. Somebody had said that, we voted for Trump, quote unquote. We didn't vote for Trump. The collective popular vote didn't go to Trump. So just whoever, I don't remember who said that, but that's not.
There's our solution, guys. Eliminate the Electoral College.
Yeah,
damn.
right.
That's what you want to end on? A
No, I
serious
don't.
conversation the whole day.
This
Fuck you, Electoral College.
You know what, though? I mean, the Electoral College could be one of the many things that we need to address in order to fix this problem.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Or even just how we elect officials in the
Locally.
first place. I mean, that needs to be something that might also fix it.
Oh,
Just like I said,
what was Iggy's post? There's 32 seats up in the next election.
33.
33 seats up
Yeah,
in the next
2020.
election.
Not enough.
Register to vote, everybody.
Yep. Be informed when you vote, though. Talk to people, guys. Don't just vote.
Vote your party. Just vote
Please
your party.
don't.
Oh, god damn.
That's not what we're supposed to say.
No.
Like I said, I mean, I want to just make sure, this is just like, solving climate change. It's not just one thing that any one person can do. I mean, as
Think
much as
globally, act locally.
act globally, that's what we need to do too.
I mean, you can't vote. You can't vote in a different state. You can't vote in a different country. I mean, you technically can if you're a part of any U.S. territories.
But we're all in this together, guys.
All right.
God bless
High School
America.
Musical. Bye, everybody. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Sexy Nerd Science Season 5.
Make sure to like us and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Don't forget to check out our merch on Teespring and support us on Project Nerd Patreon at patreon.com/projectnerd.